at the same time I stream. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, fuck no. Why would we be PG on this book club? Listen, this is about loving the dick. How can we say anything else now? Yes, please.
Change.
Quarters must
Change.
Andy, have I shared that skit with you? The change
No.
skit? Okay,
For
hold
$1?
on. I'll drop a link.
Max has a hard time with
Is it
change.
iPad again? Because I'm
No.
always going to watch that.
No,
No,
it's
it is not iPad.
not this time.
Man,
You gotta
have
pay
a
extra for
black
that.
President. And I am glad to be a Jew. I love that too much, man.
You're not allowed to say it, buddy.
Yeah, it's kind of our thing.
Oh God.
It was too good.
Max, what book are you reading in these photos of you camping? I can't read the title.
It's I got it right here. It's
Is it My
called.
Struggle?
Oh God.
Why
You
is it
can't-
censored?
Oh no, there ain't no movies
you
here.
see
This
what
is
it
a
is?
book club. This is as book club
First one
as
to
it
make
gets,
it out
baby.
wins.
Moby Dick.
Every something.
I hope you've read it.
It's My
If
Struggle,
not,
right?
we've.
Is
I
that
tried to
O.J.
figure out how to
Simpson
turn
book?
off the.
My camera's frozen.
No, I like this. Put it
Yeah.
in front of your face. See if it changes.
Yeah.
Oh,
How do I turn off the blurry?
Like
Yeah,
how
why
you're
is-
blurred.
Put it
Fine,
closer to your face.
yeah. Put it in front of your face. Oh,
Okay.
What is there?
Ah.
What if there was no significant tests? What if there were no significance tests?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a book about stats.
It's some real nonfiction shit, huh?
Oh, I
Chapter-
love me some stats.
Chapter 2, it's actually a compilation of articles. Chapter 2 is called "The Earth is Round. P is less than 0.05." And it was really good. It was good.
I love a good stats joke.
You ever read that Nate Silver book, Signal and the Noise?
Spectrum's mobile savings account.
What?
No.
who's
Nope.
learning
No.
about Spectrum right now?
That's a good one.
That was me.
That's-
No.
Are we ready to go?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Have we
I'm ready to
discussed-
go.
How you pronounce squeakig yet?
Queequeg?
Quick web.
Quick.
No, we can't. No.
Quick web.
Weequeg.
Quick web.
No.
Quick
Weequeg.
web.
Cool whip.
Quick.
Cool whip. Quick whip.
Quick web.
Quick whip.
All right, let me just pull up my mobile.
Corey.
version.
I was looking into the chapter names here, and chapter 7's pretty good. A case study in the failure of psychology as a cumulative science.
That's good. I call him Key Cheg.
Keycheg.
On
TK.
on the audiobook, it's close. I think Kevin was closest.
It's Queequeg, isn't it?
Yeah, quick.
Quick web.
Yeah.
Quick.
I
Chapter
think
3.
you can say it however you want. It's like a Dune word, you know. He's
No.
Chain.
like he's clearly not like an actual
Quick.
No, he's
like
a
cultural
savage.
representation.
remember? He's not
just
real.
like an amalgamation of them. So I think you can say however you want. You know, it's a nonsense
I guess
word.
it's a semi-common like native New Zealand name.
Kev, please don't be
Oh, it's
ridiculous.
a Maori name. I mean, based on his description, he's Maori, but they're not cannibals, and
Well, back in that time period,
Well,
anyone
do you think
who was,
his anything that he was saying was like scientifically accurate? He was like, oh, he's killing eating these people.
he's
No,
not
but
from here, he's a
he's smoking
cannibal.
like a tomahawk pipe, which is a common Native American thing. So I think he's just kind of like taking a bunch of indigenous traits and like putting them in
Like a
Cook up.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cook up.
So, is his tomahawk pipe like also an actual tomahawk? Like, could he kill someone with it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because remember when he
Yeah.
was like slashing at
Yeah.
him with it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thought so.
Okay.
Queequeg is the Messiah.
Is Queequeg the Kwisatz Haderach?
Hey,
Queequeg Kwisatz Haderach.
He
Wait,
goes
is
by
this why we
Usul,
had a-
actually.
he's a
Is this
Queequeg
why
Haderach.
we-
Is this Dune Club?
Okay, we're
Is
getting
this-
off hand. Sorry.
Is this why we had a 3-week break because Max wanted to read 2 extra books in the background in between?
More or less.
I
But
think
that's that's neither here nor there.
You guys hear me? Mic check.
Mic check. Mic
What is
works.
going on?
Test, test, test.
All right, I'm just gonna jump right into this.
Please,
Ahoy, mateys! Welcome to our first ever Moby Huge Club. Today we will be talking about the first 10 chapters of the One Great Wiener. So, this begins chapter 1. Call me Ishmael. You get to learn a little bit about Ishmael. I believe that is his name, or at least that's what he calls himself. So, we get started with.
You're so wrong.
Well, please enlighten me. Enlighten me, Max.
Okay, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
So yeah, we get to learn a little bit about what brings Ishmael on this suicidal adventure. We learn that we kind of understand that everyone tends to have this natural affliction, tend to be drawn to the ocean, tend to want to explore the 7 seas, and especially go find themselves a white whale, something monstrous and fierce, something that has nothing but mystery and shows danger and peril at every turn. And that's more or less what the first chapter was about. So who has any thoughts on how we begin this book?
Yeah, what's everyone's white whale?
I'm gonna need
You did that on
2
one
roses and a
level.
whale.
I don't want to go there. Wait, what'd you say, Pat?
2 roses and a whale.
That was good. That was really fucking good.
Yeah, Kev, that was
Yeah, I know what you did. I thought that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Okay,
You wanted to read it,
I did.
I gotta see.
Why
your
do you
name.
think?
Lock,
Right.
you know,
What
because
do you
you're
think?
still.
Lockster, Yokester.
Okay.
Lokester,
I'm
Yokester.
just gonna go through.
This is more tragedy.
So did you guys read the
This
introduction
is a story
to your
of
book?
heartbreak and woe.
I struggled to, and it started like, I don't know, telling me things I didn't want to know yet, so I stopped.
Okay, understood. Then we'll avoid. I'll avoid spoilers in what I read in my intro because I think I will. I mean, I know Max and Corey have the same book, and Andrew have the same book. That's weird. And I have a different book. We all got different intros, probably. So I'm just gonna go
All
through.
Andrew's dicks look the same.
Yeah.
Seen
That's
one
Andy
Andrew's
dick,
dick,
right?
you've seen them all.
Andy
Just
Dick.
in one.
There's a joke
Yeah.
in here.
2
Nailing it.
inches and flat like an eraser.
So
Kinky.
okay, yeah. Then we won't talk about that.
So,
And
did I read the wrong chapter 1 first, or?
No, you did. I'm talking about the intro before the book because that was
Oh.
written in the.
Well,
in
there's
the
like
reproduction.
I mean,
Wasn't
our
it
book
just
has a
definitions?
forward, and then the extracts I think are the same. They should be.
Well, I haven't gotten that. So would anyone like to take that over?
Well, wasn't
Well-
it just the definitions, right?
The glossary's in the back.
No, like it was like just different portrayals of like a whale and different.
Yeah, it's the etymology of whale.
Oh yeah. Okay, I forgot about that section. Yeah, I got bored with it and skipped it. Because I had read it before. And
I'm on the audiobook,
Yeah,
so that fucking was a fucking grind and a half. But
yeah, I bet. I bet. I'm just gonna read a few things that I found in my introduction that I thought were interesting. One of them being Ahab and Moby Dick, the book's two great antagonists, are never made the subjects of humor because comedy would diminish their status as monumental beings set apart from their kind. I think that's interesting, knowing that going into it, because those are like the iconic, like we know those names going into it. Moby Dick's the name of the book. We know Captain Ahab. We have that idea of it because this is a classic novel, right?
Yeah.
But having read the first 10 chapters, that I was
Evan, it's pronounced Arab.
Of course, the military
can't
guy
be
says that.
interrupting me like that, Max.
We gotta get out of Afghanistan. I'm telling you,
There's a time and a place.
this war never ends.
Forever war. I think that's interesting just because in the first 10 chapters, I don't know about you guys, but I was pleasantly surprised as to how funny the book was. The whole Ishmael Queequeg thing turned into like a buddy comedy there for a second, you know? And that was the part that I really enjoyed out of this reading. And I know in the next couple chapters, because I read the first 100 or so pages, that's what I
Real
really liked.
basketball, huh?
Yeah, I noticed that there's as with the first, because I read this book back in high school, a lot of fluff. I think I pointed out to Heaven earlier that the first sentence is what, 3 words, and then the next sentence is like 16, and like the whole first 10 chapters that we read, we went through some things, but they were so like elaborated on.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like Herman Melville as a writer. I mean, he liked to write a lot of words. So
Man likes to hear himself talk.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I bet he's a really long-witted like conversationalist.
Yeah.
Just listening to him just describe fucking everything. You're like, all right, cool, dude.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Another thing that I just wanted to point out before we got into the summary, it said here that Melville began. Okay, he's talking about how his friend Hawthorne would write, and it would be like everything would be very structured and have a purpose beforehand, so that symbols had like definitive meanings and like right and wrong interpretations. And it says that Melville began in the opposite way. Actual sights or events would catch his interest, and they would take on symbolic suggestions after the fact. And that's kind of like the section where the guy is like, he's like in the church and he like climbs up and he actually says like this probably means something, you know, but he doesn't know what. He's like this is significant, but I don't know how it's significant.
I was going to say there's a lot of points in that, at least in the first 10 chapters, where they bring up a lot of like, oh, there's probably a big hidden meaning in this, but I'm not going to spend any time explaining what that is.
Right. And I think like in that part when they like kind of point out, I think that's in chapter 9 or 10, like that this has some sort of significance. It's like it's like warning you, like, okay, the whole book's gonna be like this. You know, we're gonna get these symbolic scenes, and I'm not gonna tell you what they are. So like you need to figure it out for yourself and like find the meaning in it, because this is the book and it is what it is, right? So I thought that was interesting, that like just knowing that, and that the book is kind of aware of that, and he makes the reader aware of that before it really gets in. I mean, we haven't even left port yet, right?
Yeah.
You know, we're just hanging out, meeting the natives.
We're still there.
I think something interesting of that is that, so like Ishmael, like it's cool because the author can play it off as like he just doesn't know this information, but like when he was inside like the little like tavern / like hotel, and he was like looking at all the spears, and he's like, oh, this one was fucking like a whaling incident like 4.5 years ago on the, like knew all this like specifics about it. But then these other blatant like symbolisms that would probably have more meaning he doesn't know anything about and just doesn't address it. But these other, just I guess, world building aspects, he like
Yeah.
dives so fucking hard on them.
Oh, head first.
Right. It's like detail heavy, but he's not feeding you meaning or anything.
Yeah.
Which I think is, definitely feels like a whole world. Yeah. The other thing, building on that same point though, in Moby Dick, Melville was in the flood of his powers, and modern readers have been endlessly interested, often coming to varied conclusions, because the book's most striking images and actions seldom have one clear meaning on which everyone can agree. So I think that's interesting. That makes me excited to read the book, knowing that we can each read and come to the club with different ideas
Mhm.
and interpretations. So that's just, that made me kind of excited, and we can already kind of see that happening within the first couple chapters. But if no one has anything else to say, I think we can jump into the summary part.
Do not.
All right. So, yeah, I gave a little bit of a insight into the first chapter. A lot of exposition and verbalism. Uh, to say that he loves sailing, and that
Yeah.
everybody loves sailing at some point, and that everyone is drawn to the water. There's no one. There's no exceptions, except for psychopaths. But uh, did anyone have any additions they wanted to add to this first chapter? This Call Me Ishmael.
Yeah, so I think that maybe, I mean, it's using the water as that
Yeah.
man is naturally driven towards a couple things. One being nature, probably the biggest one, and then two, the unknown and the uncertainty of nature. We wouldn't be interested in going out in the water if we weren't uncertain of what it was or what was out there. So I think it's that kind of blind curiosity that naturally drives us and drove him to go to New Bedford from New York, to then stay at an inn he was kind of hesitant on, to share a bed with a harpooner who he had no idea was, and then later on befriend said harpooner.
A dark-skinned harpooner.
Yeah.
That was the big point.
Face tatted.
I think it's the whole, our first 10 chapters so far is really emphasizing the attachment to the unknown. It's the natural human curiosity.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the first or the second, but like in the first section, I was talking about like what drew him to New England, to boating, was like his draw to the water. And I think in that kind of like long-winded thing about how all men are tempted by the water at some point in their lives, I think he's talking about dying. I think he's tempted by suicide, and as a result he's like going to the water to give himself purpose and the unknown, and throwing himself into like a dangerous situation. That's kind of just what I got from it. There's not too much to support it, but that was just kind of like where my mind went based on his word choice. That's all.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that, but that sounds, fully solid in hindsight.
Because he's just a loner, and the more like it went on, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, what's he doing there? Like, what's his purpose?
Like, he has no ties anywhere.
Yeah, and he doesn't tell you like, oh, I always wanted to be a sailor since I was a boy. He's just like, it just like starts with him sailing, and he's like, I'm gonna go sail, and we have no idea where he's coming from or who he is, other than his name's Ishmael, and he washed up in the beginning of the first chapter, and now he's telling you how he got there. So I thought that was interesting. A lot of questions right off the bat, which I'm interested to see where it goes. Okay, Pat, carpet bag, let's go. Chapter 2.
I'm sorry, I was muted.
Sorry.
So, Ishmael shows up to New Bedford with 2 shirts in his carpet bag, and he missed the last, what is it, ship? Trolley?
Ferry.
ferry. He missed the last ferry to Nantucket, so he is stuck in New Bedford till Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So with only 2 shirts and nothing much else to his name, he has to go find a place to spend the night. He begins wandering down the streets looking for a place to stay, and all of these different inns that he finds seem too fancy or too expensive or too popular for his liking. So he dismisses them all, and on his way, he stumbles past a black sermon that is preaching about how there is darkness all around us, how it is inescapable, how we cannot begin to understand nor repent from it. And so that passes by without even a second thought. And then we get to the Spouter Inn, Peter Coffin, and he glances at it and thinks, "Yeah, this place is a piece of shit. This is the home for me." So he makes his way in, and that's how I believe how that chapter ends.
Yeah. He likes the place called Coffin.
Coffin.
Like he's a morbid, melancholy kind of guy.
He's a sick
He's
son
like,
of a bitch.
what does he say? He says, "Coffin, Spouter, rather ominous in that peculiar connection, thought I." That's the place for me. So, yeah,
You know
that's
it.
all I got.
Anyone else? Any thoughts on his first time in New Bedford?
Didn't he go
Yeah,
into like other? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Didn't he go into other taverns first, or did he just go into that one?
No, he went into 2 other ones, and then he went
Mhm.
into Peter Coffin.
Gotcha.
But I believe they're like too fancy.
The
They're like
Swordfish
too.
Inn,
Mhm.
the Crossed Harpoons.
Yeah,
Expensive.
and also he was like, this is like, it's weird. Okay, so is this whole town based on whaling, or did he just
Yeah.
happen upon
It's a whaling
whaling?
town.
Gotcha. That's why I was like, why the fuck is this so pertaining to his
Yeah,
life?
they'll go into it more in that chapter where he's wandering it during the day. But
Gotcha.
yes, it's a whaling town, and it's very wealthy as of a result.
Still is today.
It's funny because he's like, yeah, fucking New Bedford's this new age whaling shit. Like all the new guys. Like I'd rather be in Nantucket. That's the OG whaling place, you know.
Yeah.
But,
Mhm.
but at the same time, it seems like he's kind of a noob, but
Right.
he also like knows everything. So I don't know. I don't have a good sense for how skilled he is as a sailor so far.
I would imagine he's studied but inexperienced, if I had to guess.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
Really well, though?
it seems like he's sailed a
The
couple
narrator.
times before, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
because
sailed like a couple times, and he was like, I'm not like fucking badass, but I know how to like, haul some lines and stuff. I know how to throw some ropes.
Haul some
Well,
ass.
he talks about like being, you have to be like humble, and he talked about all the ins and outs of like he would never be a captain, and then there's some people that are too like prissy or like don't like to be talked down to be a sailor. So like, he seems very like inept and well versed in sailing in all the different positions before this point.
The way that I interpreted it, because in the first chapter, like he's washing up on land or something. Someone saves him from a wreck. He references it very briefly, and then he begins telling the tale. So the way that I see it is that this is the narrator telling his life story as an experienced sailor, but at this point in the novel, like he has very little to no experience, but he knows he wants the experience, so he's seeking out a true experience. Like Corey said, none of that new age whaling stuff. I want OG hardcore whaling. That's just how I interpreted it reading it. There's
That
at
makes
the end of chapter 2, there's a lot of mentions of Lazarus. How did you guys interpret that?
Reminded me of that one Doctor Who episode, and I thought about that for a while.
Which one?
I don't know. There's a doctor episode with like Dr. Lazarus, and he's like trying to do something. I don't know. I don't really remember.
Okay.
I think
I'm just curious.
for me, I think it goes back. Oh God, I looked at the Bible. So Lazarus
was the man in the cave Jesus brought back from the dead.
Well, yes, but there was another story of Lazarus that had to deal with wealth.
Okay.
About Lazarus dying outside, the man also sick inside. They both passed away at the same time. Man got no help because he was shuttled inside. Sick, poor man outside got all the help in the world, had a good life because he wasn't shuttered away by his wealth. So when I think of that, I think of him staying in this darker, poorer hostel. It's more of an experience than the nicer, wealthier places to stay.
Yeah, Tommy, that was not my favorite episode.
Yeah, it was a bad episode, but
Yeah. But you're right. You're right.
Awful episode.
Not awful. There are some awful ones. That wasn't an awful one.
Awful.
Pretty bad.
I should know.
Hey, it's no Capaldi bad. You know what I'm saying?
So don't even get me started on Capaldi.
I never watched Capaldi.
Amateur.
That last season of Matt Smith was pretty rough. Okay, let's keep going then. Pat, the Spouter Inn.
The Spouter Inn. You get to meet the old keeper himself. What was his name? Peter
Coffin.
Peter Coffin, yes. So he gets in. It is very disheveled. He sees a lot of I don't even know what to call it, artistry along the walls. There might be some deeper meaning in them. I wish I could tell you. But the author doesn't seem to give a damn, so I won't either. So we go past that, and we get to the point where he goes, "Excuse me, sir, I need to sleep here for the night." And Mr. Coffin goes, "Best I could do is half a bed. You can share it with this cannibal." So he spends most of the evening pretty much terrified of what this roommate of his is going to be, and he tries to get out of it by sleeping on a bench. He tries to distract himself, all to no avail. He's told stories of being a cannibal, being selling heads. What is that, like cut off heads? Is that what he's referring to?
Shrunken heads.
Shrunken heads. Yep.
They're not shrunken.
So real devil of a dude if you're not used to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So he finally comes in, and you get to see a little bit of Queequeg, and he's a bit ragged, bearded, tattooed all over, uglier than most, but wholehearted and civilized, and shows a lot of respect for his surroundings and the people around him, even without using words, for the most part. So, yeah. Ishmael goes to bed next to this savage and gets one of the best night's sleep of his life.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Does everyone have this explanatory notes section
No.
in the back?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Max does. This is really great, and I've been kind of reading through all the notes. That's where I found out about the penis thing that we'll talk about next chapter. But also, they're actually not shrunken heads; they're embalmed heads. And a lot of readers think they are because they call them like a string of onions, like on a string like onions. But apparently, they're actually embalmed and sold as like mannequins for barbers to put wigs on. I thought that was
interesting. That's
very interesting.
In that section when they first when he's like trying to find a place and stuff, I thought it was nice that the landlord / bartender guy was like, oh, I can just take this this plane and plane down this bench to make it more comfortable for you.
Yeah.
I was like, that was just like the funniest little like anecdote, was just seeing this old man planing a bench to make it into a bed. He's like, you're still paying for the night. I'm just making a bed for you.
Right.
But he's like, I get it. He's a scary guy. He's covered in tattoos, you know?
Yeah, and then the other thing is that like Queequeg didn't notice that he was like already in the bed until he like got in with him.
Yeah.
And then Ishmael was like, this is the worst, most uncomfortable bed. And then the moment that Queequeg gets in, he's like, all right, this is pretty good.
Yeah, kind of goes to show you just how absolutely horrified of this man he is.
Yeah, and how he described his like religion practice, and how he like stoked up the fire and let it die, and all this other aspects. It was just like Ishmael was just sitting there watching this whole shit, like, and it can't be that big of a room. So I was like, in my mind, this is just like the most awkward, weird situation.
Yeah, you ever just show up in a stranger's bed?
Yeah.
All right, so that was chapter 3. So chapter 4, he wakes up in the morning and he gets a good look at the man who had his arm over him all night, like he was his wife.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
It's so gay sometimes.
Yeah, and he like couldn't move it. It was like super like he was like grabbing him tighter each time he tried moving it. He's like, what the fuck is up with this guy?
So yeah, he gets to kind of explore Queequeg in his morning routine, and he's very pleasantly surprised by some of the what?
I just like how you said he gets to explore Queequeg. That's that really hits the nail on the head. You know?
Yeah,
Sorry,
well,
Pat.
no, it's good. We're good with it. It's 2021.
Yeah, it's honestly my favorite part of the book so far.
Yeah, not gay enough. That's what I say.
Not gay enough. Yes. Too many whales. Need more dicks.
Less on the Moby. That's all I'm getting at.
There it is.
So he gets to really take a keen eye to this savage and how he, what was it? Did he shave himself with his harpoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he promptly after that he was like, I later found out how high quality and like craftsmanship harpoons were. So he was like, later it was going to make sense, but in the moment, I thought that was a nice touch too.
Yeah.
Who doesn't use a weapon to make themselves look good in the morning? I mean, so what else happened in this chapter?
They went to breakfast and Queequeg was stabbing pancakes.
Oh, that's the next chapter. That's breakfast.
Yeah. Oh, this is a little bit earlier, but like also Queequeg like noticed that Ishmael was uncomfortable and he was like, I can get dressed first and leave. So it was another like humanity aspect.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just very humble and kind at every turn.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very like surprisingly good at like social cues that aren't like cultural.
I was gonna say, I feel like that kind of leans in with his, like, the fact that maybe his English isn't so great, is he's gotten really good at reading social cues.
Yeah, that's good. I didn't think about that, but he's got to communicate somehow, right?
Yeah.
I like how they use the word toilet to mean like washing and getting ready in the morning. That's funny.
Yeah, he's like, are you gonna toilet right now? And he's like, I'll toilet. And then it starts splashing his armpits.
Bruce, you have to toilet right now, even if you don't think you need to.
Bruce, toilet.
Is he gonna toilet right now?
Hey Max, not sure I can make the gig in New Mexico. Just letting you know.
What did I invite you to something in New Mexico?
Yeah, the Kaylee's gig.
Wait, what?
Am I
didn't get invited.
What the fuck, Max?
Bullshit.
I'll try to make it, man. I don't know if the trade one's that far.
Hold on. Oh, I added you to the wrong group, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna RSVP.
How do
Yes.
I?
Yeah. All right, I'm going there, Max. I'll see you then.
All right.
Where the
Okay.
fuck is my invite?
Is this like a gig?
Next,
Like
this
a
is just
shoe
padding the numbers so other people can get guilted into coming. So this is
It's
a
an
good idea.
underground group.
No, I'm not coming now. I'm just fucking
You're
mad
not
that I wasn't
coming?
invited.
I'll still come.
No, I'm
currently
saving that for the
going.
Yeah, I'll
cum
come
zone.
at the same time.
Yep.
Tomei gets it. Sometimes I feel like Tomei is the only one that does get it. You know.
Yeah, I get that.
No, you
Sometimes
don't.
it's
Only
like-
Tomei
you
gets
I
it.
don't think you do.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. I'm
Kinda-
sorry.
kinda, you
That's an Andrew thing.
Yeah. Well,
really don't, do
Your
you?
name's not Tomei. All right?
yeah.
Back off, Andy.
What is my name?
Whoa.
There's only room for one chain bitch here.
Andy Crow.
Hey.
Okay, let's keep moving.
All right.
Yeah.
Breakfast,
Breakfast. This is the pancakes.
or
right?
as it's more commonly known, breakfast.
Wait. Is you guys hold on? Is it called
Breakfast?
breakfast in your chapter in your book?
It is.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I was on the wrong chapter. It is called breakfast in my book as well.
It's also called it in mine. Thank you. All right, continue.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
All right. So we head into the bar room for some breakfast. He gets a good look at some of the people who stayed the night, and he sees a lot of whalemen, a lot of mates, a lot of crew, a lot of different sailors. And the one thing he is stunned by is how quiet it is in there. Not a single lick of loud noise. And that is not okay.
What?
This is-
Yeah.
This
Why
was
was everyone
another-
so awkward? Oh no, wait, we got to keep going first before we can analyze it.
Yeah. So there was a lot of silence, a little bit of socialism here and there. But the big focus was on Queequeg. So Queequeg was harpooning his meat,
Yeah.
just really slinging it
His
in
meat.
there. You know, as all
Very
good
socialist.
savages do. And Bryce, is this the part you wanted to bring up about breakfast?
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. How everyone was so awkward, and then he was talking about how like Queequeg was like cool as a cucumber, and if even more so was just like reaching over people and just using his harpoon to like grab food.
True badass.
Awesome.
Hey,
I do
Max.
agree with you, though, Pat. Not enough socialism. Needed a little bit more
We
socialism.
need
than
more
this after.
socialism.
Somebody
Whoops.
clip that. Pat's never said that before.
Yeah,
Wait,
Max,
wait,
you'll get his
listen.
invite.
You can
It-
take this out
What?
of context.
I'm allowed to
You'll
say
get more
this on
invites.
Mondays. It's just Wednesdays I can't have that opinion.
Are you real? Son of a bitch.
I'm going to a Ballon Fiesta opening ceremony and
Ballon?
taco.
Does it not say balloon?
It says Ballon.
What an idiot!
How do you say balloon? How do you spell balloon?
With two
Add an
O's.
O there.
That's not how I spell balloon.
Two O's.
Balloon.
Oh, you canceled the Taco and Margarita Festival?
For you, I did.
Oh,
that's getting personal.
I
wow.
was looking forward to that one.
Man, now we know that if you cancel it just for one person, they just think the whole event's canceled.
Wow.
It's good to know.
Corey's face is frozen. The most hilarious posture for me on my camera. It's hilarious. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's so funny. That's better now.
Damn. Any other thoughts on breakfast?
Bye, Andy.
Yeah.
I mean, this was another chapter where I'm like, this is like a child. Like he's like, why isn't everybody telling great whale stories? Like,
Yeah.
isn't that what sailors do? It's like, bro, you ain't never been sailing.
He's just trying to thicket with the guys. He's like, well, come on, guys. You seen a whale yet?
Yeah.
So how about those whales, guys? Am I right?
I've seen a whale. Like, have you now? He's like,
Moby,
Did you-
take a break. Dix, you know what I'm talking about.
Did you see the whale on that woman?
That's funny.
All right.
That is too funny.
Well, I guess with that, we'll move on to chapter 6. And this is where he is walking around the town. He is out on the street looking at all the elegant buildings, the wealth that seems to be carried here, the high fashion that the women walk with.
Fashion.
And
Fashion.
yeah, and it all is thanks to being a big whale hunting town. And I believe it's the whale oil that is just so damn profitable. Like, why are we even trying to make it big as streamers when we could just be selling whale oil all this time?
Yeah.
Let's get back into it.
We're trying to save the whales.
What do we need whales for?
What
I've
a
seen
whale
Whale
ever
Wars.
do for me?
Have you seen Whale Wars?
Starred in Moby Dick. What do you mean?
Listen, I didn't vote for this book, but that's neither here nor there.
Not my Moby Dick.
Not my dick.
And this is the section where he's like, and all those pansies from Vermont, New Hampshire, coming down from the Green Mountains and trying to do some real man's work. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, come on, get over your fucking self.
Me, I'm from the city.
Yeah.
I'm from New York City.
I'm from Hell's Kitchen.
It's just Ishmael projecting. He's like, all these wimps out here fucking not doing anything.
Yeah. I mean, that's more or less this chapter in a nutshell.
These fucking 2-page chapters are not offering much.
No, but they keep the story moving. You know.
It's just filler.
And
Get
they
you the
make me
good
feel like I
shit.
read a lot.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of like halfway themes in this book that I wish were either explored or ignored because it's just a lot of words with
Well-
no. Oh, sorry.
No, I just think that maybe it's the type of book that, you know, invites you to read it a second time, and with context you'd be able to decipher and decode those symbols easily.
Like Infinite Jest.
Like Infinite Jest, yeah.
Yeah.
Could you repeat that for the class?
You did that, not me.
And I think this is the first time he mentions like there's just a nasty storm going on outside. And he mentions that every page.
Storm outside is getting nastier than you would want it to get.
Nasty as it feels like out there.
It takes a long time to talk about pulpit.
Pulpit. I hardly know it.
Is that the chapel for the next section?
That's like 2 chapters from now.
Pulpit.
No, the chapel's the
louder.
next one.
Pulpit. Louder.
Huzzah-hoo-hoo-hoo.
Get up the radio. Turn the stereo.
Let's keep moving, Pat.
All right.
You're doing a
Next.
great job, by the way.
Thank you. Next, we come to the chapel. He goes and explores this chapel where it looks like all the sailors go. There's a lot of inscriptions on the wall, a lot of plaques to commemorate the dead, such as to John Talbot who at 18 was lost overboard.
Mm-hmm.
The memory of all those fucking names I'm not gonna read from the crew of the ship Eliza, who were towed off out of sight by a whale. All sad fates of captains and crew who were lost at sea. And as he walks in, he's surprised to see Queequeg sitting there. And it makes sense that Queequeg is sitting there while everyone else is up because he's the only one that can't read. So why would he be going to stare at those plaques?
Yeah.
And he was very conscious of Ishmael, which I guess caught him off guard. But the other part of this chapter was Ishmael talking about why are these people like mourning the dead if life is really better after death, you know?
Mm,
Which I thought hit home. I was like, yeah, why cry over someone that's dead, you know?
yeah. No, I get that.
That
I cry over spilt milk.
Hell is that, Max?
Max, I'm afraid to open this. What is it?
uh,
Well, that's a good one.
Hmm.
All right, here's the church.
Oh,
Here's the steeple.
There we go.
Open the doors. There's all the people.
that's beautiful.
that's a real Kevin move right there.
All right, let's get back to the whale.
Kevin's.
So yeah, anyone got any thoughts as we get introed to this chapel?
I think it's interesting to compare these two sermons that we've seen so far. You know, we're only a couple pages into the book, 65 pages, and there's been two like sermons, like ideologies in your face so far. So you got the early one, they're talking about like darkness, which is like the unknown. And then there's this one, which is talking about like the afterlife and like grieving the dead, and hypothesizing beyond death. And the other one earlier was just kind of like, you just death is death, and you just leave it. It's like you don't know everything. I think those two, because they're so close together, I think you're supposed to put them. There's got to be some sort of meaning. There's some sort of connection. I don't know what it is. But those are just a few things that were going through my head while it happened. I was like, okay, there's a mirror. This is the mirror to the other one, right?
What? I didn't know there was two. I thought there was just one sermon with the same pastor that came in.
I thought this was a totally different place.
No,
No,
it
isn't it
says
earlier in the book?
it says in this same New Bedford there stands a whaleman's chapel, and few are the moody fishermen.
This is where he talks about Jonah, right? Jonah and the whale, or is this a whole different part?
That is chapter 8.
Yeah, that's where he goes into the sermon.
I'm confusing chapters.
It's all one thing.
Yeah, so I guess comparing this to the next chapter then is what I guess I was trying to do.
Okay.
Well, there hasn't been a sermon yet.
Yeah, like the guy hasn't even came in the door yet. They're just sitting in the pews looking around.
Oh, so is the sermon 2 chapters away then?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
the next chapter is literally just him walking in and him getting up.
Yeah,
just pulpit.
these small chapters. It's crazy.
Yeah, because right now is this whole chapter is him sitting and they're waiting and nothing is happening. It's just him people watching, and then the next is the pastor, and then the description of the pastor, then the pastor walking up, and then the one after that is the full sermon.
Yep. And that I thought it'd be fun if we read this whole sermon.
That honestly though, that was probably one of the best sermon, like just like I guess like church experiences, because like listening to it on the audiobook was like that was fucking solid. Like
I'm thinking Sunday morning we all wake up and read this sermon. What do you say? 9 a.m. Eastern?
I'll put it in an email.
What time is that out in liberal country, Tommy?
6 a.m.
Oof. Fucking snowflakes, am I right?
Yeah, we need our own time zone.
Yeah.
Wait, did you just call him a snowflake?
Not what?
Oh my god. What the fuck?
Cat's evolving.
So many snowflakes, and yet they still have all those forest fires. Explain that to me.
Global warming?
Bang bang.
You have snow.
All right, Pat, let's go.
All right,
Correct,
we are talking
correct,
about
Andy.
the pulpit, chapter 8, aka Father Mapple, making his way into the church. And it is literally just him climbing up this this old ladder, this rickety ladder looking thing onto what looks like a ship's bow. And yeah, this is the part where Ishmael says, there's got to be some deeper meaning here. But
Yeah, especially when he pulls up the ladder, right?
right.
Right.
Would anyone like to gander at this deeper meaning of climbing up? Yeah, I don't blame you. Me neither. Let's move on.
Well, no, I like how they talked about a
I
couple of
like how
different
Pat
factors.
runs this book club.
I like a couple different
Sorry,
factors.
you
First
did.
off, the overanalyze, like he
Annihilation.
overanalyzed the ladder and how the ladder is like over-engineered and how it would be perfect for an actual sailing ship, but for its purpose right now, it's like, why would you overkill it that much? And then the other thing to it is when he got up there and he like recoils the entire ladder. I thought that was fucking awesome because he's like now he's just up there by himself and no one can fucking like get him. And I just thought that was cool. And also, he didn't have any rain gear, and he just came in completely just soaked to the bones, and then he just like slops his like coat onto the ground. It's just all those like factors I thought was like just once again like perfect world building.
Yeah. I highlighted a section within the first paragraph. At the time I now write of, Father Maple was in the hardy winter of a healthy old age, that sort of old age which seems merging into a second flowering youth. From among all the fissures of his wrinkles there shone certain mild gleams of a newly developing bloom, the spring verdure peeping forth even beneath February's snow. It was gorgeous. It's like, I know this man, and yet he's also the springtime. It's beautiful. I just, I like this book so far because it's clear that Melville's writing this for no one but his own Moby Dick. Like he's coming on the page, just full of words. I love it.
Full of cum.
Yeah.
Gird the cum.
You guys are so fucking immature.
Okay, Pat, let's go.
All right, and now
This book club stays the same every week.
Shut up, Pat.
I get older. This book club stays the same age.
Dude, we got like another 800 pages of dick jokes, okay?
All right, so now we get to the official sermon.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Feel better?
I feel much better.
Good.
Good sermon.
The flow of this book club this week has been so fucking off.
Hey. All right. So now we get to the sermon, and we get to this beautiful stanzas that everyone joins in and sings. Who would like to sing it?
I can play the audiobook if you just want.
Come on, Pat. Let's
All
go.
right. All right. The ribs and terrors in the whale arched over me a dismal gloom, while all God's sunlit waves roll by and lift me deepening down to doom. I saw the opening maw of hell with endless pains and sorrows there, which none but they can feel, can tell. Oh, I was plunging to despair. In black distress I called my God. When I could scarce believe him mine, he bowed his ear to my complaints. No more the whale did me confine. With speed he flew to my relief, as on a radiant dolphin borne, yet awful, yet bright as lightning shone that face of my deliverer God. The song forever shall record that terrible, that joyful hour. I give the glory to my God, is all the mercy and the power.
Is that how it goes?
I don't know how the song part goes. I
Wow,
just
bro.
read
Who
it.
cares? It's a
No,
pirate song, you
yeah.
know?
No offense, I highly suggest you guys listening to the audiobook on this chapter.
Okay,
No, thank you.
but still,
I like the
still,
pirate song.
Pat, bravo.
Thank you.
Bravo,
Thank
man.
you.
That was good.
All right. And you
I
thought
love
that
that
was good.
one.
Just wait till I read the rest of the sermon out to you.
I'm ready.
All
In a
right.
sing-songy fashion.
Yeah, all of it in limerick style.
Limerick
uh, so this beautiful emotional sermon goes on, telling us of the tale of Jonah. Excuse me.
Mhm.
And how
Yeah, this
Jonah
guy
was.
won't shut up about Jonah.
He loves his Jonah. Is Jonah one of the saints who was swallowed by the whale?
I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
The
I
great
had
fish.
no idea what this section was about.
Oh, well, I'll take it from the top then.
Yeah.
Shipmates, this book containing only. Okay, I'm not going to read it.
I thought you were gonna sing again.
No.
Dun, 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 dun.
Talking about the sin and disobedience that is within Jonah and how he is trying to better himself. Yeah, this whole fucking thing is a mess. But Bryce, you heard the audiobook. How was this from that perspective? Did it actually make sense?
Yeah. I don't obviously have the book in front of me to read from.
Sure.
Obviously.
But
Give us
You
the
don't have an
breakdown.
audiobook in front of you to read from?
the breakdown of just the whole sermon, pretty much.
Yeah. The story of Jonah.
How,
You know.
how do you
All right.
interpret the sermon?
All
What
right.
was the
so
meaning?
The whole sermon was talking about how everybody is sinners, right? And how that and like the pastor made like this weird side comment about that he himself has sinned more than anyone else in this entire room. And then they're like, what? And then they talked about how Jonah was a sinner and he like ran from God. And then the end like the moral of the whole story was that Jonah ended up being punished, and at the same point in time he saw that it was like a just punishment. So not only is repentance like forgiving your sins, but it's also being content in the reparations that like thereof. And he was just talking about how like the sea itself and everything is just so unforgiving and that we're all sinners type of deal. And he's like, if you are going to sin and you are going to repent, so don't ask for forgiveness, accept like the punishment, which is like a similar thing, but like a different way of looking at it. And he just, yeah, that's pretty much just the whole gist of it. And then at the end of it, after you finish the sermon, as he's telling the sermon too, like the storm outside is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and like pretty much like giving his words more power. And then at the end of it, he kind of like collapses into like prayer, like kind of like in a folded position, and then stops talking. And then everyone else is like, "All right, I guess it's time to go," and they just leave him.
Yeah,
And
it had a weird ending.
yeah. But no, yeah, that's the whole gist of it, is that sin and repentance of sin.
Okay.
And they talked about how that out of the entire Bible, there's only like 3 like sections that they talk about water and whales and this. So he was tying it back to the whale and whaling and sailing, and so it was just like, I guess, like a really solid sermon for sailors.
It's a sailor sermon.
Yeah, sailor sermon. Do you think he
That's
does the same one every week too? Because that one was really like buttoned up, really nice, and it's really pertains to sailing. So
no, I think he does
Yeah.
a different one every week.
Like,
but
how's
I
he
do
gonna
think-
relate Cain and Abel to sailing?
Dude, that's his job, and I bet it's based on this. He's good at his job. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, not to go backwards, but the pulpit section, when we're all talking about the pulpit, nobody knows what it means.
Yeah.
So the pulpit is shaped and designed to be like a ship, right? And then
Yeah.
he gets on the ship, pulls up the ladder.
Mhm.
Wasn't this guy like a sailor in his past life, and then he retired, and then
Yeah.
so he just has like this weird childish obsession with sailing that the whole town has, including the narrator, and they can't do anything else in life besides sail and get their butts back on the ocean as fast as possible, because that's the only way they can find meaning.
That's right.
what I think, I think
yeah, and
Okay.
like
I like it.
yeah,
so
all the
he
artwork.
makes his whole church a
Yeah.
big boat because he can't be out on the water, so he's got to bring the boat to him.
Wow.
You're finally getting it, Corey.
That's what I've been waiting for, right there.
Sorry if I'm a little bit behind.
No. That was a
I'll
great.
let you know my
great
thoughts on the
comment.
sermon next week.
Tome, any
okay,
thoughts on the sermon?
Not particularly on the sermon. I mean, I thought it was interesting to draw. I was kind of surprised that he chose a whale story for the whale people.
Oh, you get surprised by that?
Well, I mean,
Thought he
I'm
was
not
gonna talk about
surprised Herman
pigeons.
Melville chose this. I'm just surprised that Father Maple chose a whaling story. It's like, is it by coincidence that we stumbled upon the one sermon he's talking
That's
about
what I
whales?
was saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or does he do this every fucking week for the same whaling people?
Yeah,
No.
I kind of was just like, all right, Maple, we get it. You like boats, you like whales. Let's maybe give them a story not about whales. They know about whales. I don't know.
They wouldn't be able to relate.
Yeah, he's just trying to put. Go ahead.
I was just saying, I kind of like Corey. What you said makes a lot of sense. I feel like it's like they have this like obsession. This whole town has this obsession with whales and boats and stuff, and they're like, gotta get back to them whale boats. And it's like they can't talk about anything else. Like people are shaving themselves with their harpoons. They're harpooning their food. They're coming in to sleep in a place that's called it's has like the bar is like a whale jawbone, right? It's like everything is centered around whaling and boating and stuff. Yeah.
I think he's making he's forming every idea from the Bible into something a sailor would understand. So he's like, pretend God is like a storm and the sinner is like a landlubber, right? So like, does that make sense to you?
Yeah, and he also keeps
sailors are dumb.
Yeah, and he also keeps talking to the entire church as crewmates and shipmates.
Yeah.
And when he was telling them all to like scoot in, he was like, this side, like port side to starboard side to port side, and then it was like center, like it was just like, dude, fucking get off the boat for 10 seconds.
Yeah, the way that I interpret it is, he's up there going, how do I reach these kids? And he's doing his best.
All right. And
It's just a whale, but he makes no money.
And I believe the last chapter we get to is a little bit of a heart-to-heart with Queequeg.
That's right.
They
Queakers.
What was it?
I said Queakers.
That is a hell of a nickname.
Queaky.
We call them Queeks for short. So they get to hanging out. He gets and we see that Ishmael is finally starting to come around and truly respect him. Not as this savage cannibal with a bunch of tattoos and who's really ugly and doesn't talk much, but as a friend.
Wow, just shit on the guy, why don't you?
Yeah, that was a lot, man.
Look, it wasn't me who said it. It was Ishmael.
Okay, go on.
Savage though he was and hideously marred about his face, at least to my taste. That's literally in this chapter.
Okay, but you didn't have to say it like that.
Yeah.
You put some stank on it. That was the difference.
It's how you said it, not what you said.
What's Queequeg ever done for me?
He smoked his pipe.
Yeah, he smoked a pipe, which means they are now officially married.
Mm-hmm.
I now pronounce you husband and Savage.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, was it also I like
everywhere.
I like the turmoil that Ishmael went through. He was like, should I participate in this little like religion ritual? And he's like, God, he only respects worshiping other gods, and this is not a real god. Like he just discredits Queequeg's entire he's like, this isn't real shit. I might as well play pretend with him. And then so I was like, that's kind of fucked up that he's worshiping a religion that he's like, this shit's not real.
As all good
Well,
Christians do.
I think I feel like that was a pretty pessimistic interpretation of what happened. Because the way that I interpret it was like, okay, even though that he knows I don't abide in his religion, like I'm still going to do him the courtesy and
Yeah, but
join him in prayer the way that Queequeg shows up at his church as well. It's an exchange of culture. I didn't think there was any discredit.
I was like paraphrasing the book, 'cause the book said he said himself that God, the whole what I was saying about worshiping other deities and stuff like that,
Right.
and he talked about how he's like, well, this isn't a real religion or something along those lines.
Sure, he
So-
rationalizes it to himself, but I don't think there's any malice in it.
Oh no, there's no malice, but it's that underlying prejudice / weird racial shit. He's like,
Yeah,
This
guy's
he's
not a real
he's a
person.
white guy. Yeah.
yeah.
I'll share one of the explanatory notes that I found interesting in this section.
Please.
You guys might remember he mentions Queequeg's skull, right? Like
Mhm.
phrenology, the whole idea of phrenology, that your skull shape makes the type of person you are, or the race you are, or how smart you are.
Mhm.
That thing. This book actually suggests that when he says that Queequeg was the George Washington of cannibals by his skull shape.
Oh yeah,
Um,
George Washington, hang on, cannibalistically developed.
Yeah. So this actually says that Melville is making fun of phrenology, because a real phrenologist would never consider this, cannibal savage dude in George Washington to be similar. So he was just kind of poking fun at the pseudoscience. I thought that was interesting.
Oh,
It's supposed to be a joke from Melville's point of view.
So it's really, that's like a time period joke that's so outdated.
that's some real Melville humor right
There's
there.
no way we could catch it other than thinking it's funny to compare him to George Washington.
We should
Yeah.
we should make sure Melville didn't quit his day job as a writer.
Oh.
Hold on to that one.
His day job was as a one of those guys at customs. He was a customary worker.
Oh, you mean a little bitch?
No, he checked the boats. He worked at the ports. What are you talking about?
One of those fucking little bitches.
Yeah, you're just waiting for Kevin to finish, just be like, yeah, like a bitch. Like it didn't matter what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
all
a
right.
cashier, like a bitch, huh? Like
Yeah, well, those little pieces of shit, you capiche?
Hey.
Okay, let's finish this up.
Yeah, and so it ends with Ishmael and Queequeg both praying to the idol in a peaceful, friendly way, and heading off to bed as all loving couples do. Arm in
Naked.
tow, cuddled close, a cozy, loving pair.
Aw,
And they chatted throughout the night.
Yeah, they did.
guitar fights.
Okay.
And kissed his
so,
nose.
Just overall, real quick, are you guys enjoying Moby Dick? Was it what you expected?
It was not at all what I expected, and I am enjoying it. Very verbal for not a lot of action, I guess would be
Yeah.
my biggest complaint of it so far.
Well, I mean, they haven't left port yet. I'm sure the action will pick up a little bit.
No, certainly it won't.
I-
They won't even see a whale for 600 pages. We know how this book goes.
You're right, we do.
Nothing's gonna happen. You gotta sleep with a bunch more sailors,
There's gonna be a lot more gay stuff. That's what's gonna happen, right?
Good. That's all I ask for.
Not gay enough.
yeah, he's like, Queequeg, your pipe's poking in my leg this morning, and he's like, what pipe? I was like, I have that in the nightstand.
Tome, are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I am enjoying it. It's one of those books where I wish that I was it's one of those books where I wish I had been reading for longer because I think that would make it easier for me to read it. And
I
just
agree.
practicing reading this kind of book would have prepared me better for this kind of book. You know, like
Mm,
we ping pong back and forth between really easy reads and really tough reads, I think. So,
Yeah.
Dune, even though it was long, was a very easy read. Same with the
There's
book of shorts, the Sedaris book we read, very easy to
Me talk pretty.
understanding book.
Yeah.
Blood Meridian and this,
not easy.
a lot harder to read.
Mhm.
And it's one of those books where I think that if I was able to better focus on the sentences, I
Mhm.
really enjoy the prose. But it's like one of those ones where I'm just not good at reading.
Okay.
So sometimes it's hard, but I am enjoying it.
Yeah, even I get lost or distracted in his long-winded prose. Which also happened with McCarthy. You know, that's just kind of how it is. Maybe try the audiobook when you read. You know, there was a
Yeah.
couple chapters during Blood Meridian where I would turn it on when I was commuting just because of time, and it just on the audiobook it's like there's no confusion. You know, because the guy's just saying the sentences. You know,
Oh, I
so
imagine especially with like the sermon part, that must have been the way to go.
yeah. So I might dabble in that for parts I'm confused about, or try and do both. Maybe listen to it
Yeah.
after I read it. But
Yeah, and so since I'm solely listening to the audiobook right now, and I have like an hour and a half, like not commute, like most of the project sites are hours and a half away. So I'll listen to the first initial like limit of what our reading was supposed to be for up until now, to a project site, and that shit flew by super clear, and also I don't know, I just feel like they know when to emphasize words and how to like say words to make it like make sense. And the sermon itself, I really suggest you going back and listening to that, because like it was like one of the most phenomenal actual, like it beats probably any actual like in-person church sermons I've ever heard. So no, highly
Okay.
suggest it.
all right.
I was gonna say something similar to what you guys just talked about. When I like the first 10 pages or so, I haven't read a book from the 1800s in a few years,
Yeah.
so it really took me a few minutes to like slip back into that. But already I'm like kind of getting into the groove again. It was kind of like Infinite Jest. It took like 200 pages until like I think we all could like read it pretty clearly and fluently.
Mhm.
So I think after a couple more weeks, we'll probably all be much more used to it and be able to glide through things a little bit easier.
Mhm.
I think it'll come to you quicker than you'll expect.
That is good.
Yeah, it doesn't take like years of reading this kind of bullshit to feel like you get it.
Good.
Now, when
Gives
you
me
say
hope.
quicker than I expect, you mean understanding the book or like what actually happens in it?
I mean like sentence to sentence.
Okay.
Because sometimes you read a sentence and you're like, I don't know what that means, and then you just keep going,
Yep.
Yeah.
You're never gonna
I know
know
that.
what the painting meant in the bar, Pat. That's just a mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really never will.
Wait, did we talk about how maybe I zoned out? How the whole bar was like shaped like a whale attacking a boat or some shit?
No, we skipped that.
No,
Yeah,
we
we
did
skipped
not.
over that part. And how like
it
the
was
mouth
a
of
very.
it.
I had to reread that section like 3 times because it was very confusing. how
Yeah,
they were
because
describing it.
I don't think the bar itself is shaped like a whale. I thought it was a whale jawbone.
That's
that
the bar, right?
The bar
The
itself.
bar is a jar boat. The whole building, I mean, is like a whale.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that chapter in Infinite Jest where he spends like 20 pages telling you how the university is shaped like a brain. And it's
Yeah.
like, I get it, and I don't need these details, but I'm going to try and keep up.
Yeah. It seems
So also, at
impossible
least
to
this one doesn't have a bunch of made up words. So I feel like it flows almost even easier.
What was that, Bryce?
This book doesn't have a bunch of made up words, so I feel like it flows easier than.
Queequeg? Queequeg's not a made-up word.
All right, let's talk
Why
about
don't
how
you sit down? Why don't you
many
sit down and let the big boys talk, Bryce?
how many titles does fucking Paul have? All right, so I think Queequeg one off is fucking fine.
Listen, don't you talk about my boy the Cannibal Savage like that.
Tell me about the waters of your homeworld, Uso.
Don't worry, he gets additional titles in the following books.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you guys know what drive the audiobooks are on? Bryce wanted a copy of Dune Messiah.
KCM4.
It's on
You want me
KCM4.
to
Bryce, do you have
share
access
all
to
of them?
KCM4?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, Corey, can you share those with Bryce real quick? I'd appreciate that.
You want the Dune audiobooks, you say?
Yeah.
Do you
he
think
wants
we
it.
just all
'cause,
have access to all these KCM files you guys keep?
Because once again, I just flew through the
Don't you have
Moby
access
Dick
though?
reading, so I thought it'd be nice to double down on that.
No.
Come
I
on.
didn't know. I didn't know.
We can't just hand out access like that. To
Yeah,
the
listen,
not-
if I
I'm
if
not
I had
worried about
access, do you think I'd be asking about the historical docs every other week?
Oh, see, now we can never give it to you. You just
those-
boxed yourself out, bitch.
Yeah, you just
I'm
talked
sorry.
about fucking checking the archives. That's the difference.
Kev, one day KCM's not gonna have the votes you'd like, and then
Okay.
all hell's gonna break loose.
I mean, you're gonna need martial law. Pry those out of my cold dead hands.
I don't need a martial law. I just need the votes, and one day I'm gonna get them.
Corey,
We just need the Marshall.
what drive is Gundam on now?
4.
Thank you so much.
It's still uploading, but
Okay.
it's on 4.
It will be on 4. Thank you, Corey. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Kevin, I'm gonna watch some of your Gundam. No, sure.
Oh, do you want
see,
access to
I did
Gundam?
not give
I can
him
share it
access
with
to
you.
that.
Yeah,
Oh.
you should just give access to the whole.
We just
I
talked
think I
about this.
can.
We just talked
I
about
They
it.
talked about it with Pat. That's different. That's
It's different. Okay.
Sorry, what's happening?
Whoever knows.
you
We're
guys are giving
closing
me
book club.
access.
That's what's
That's it.
happening. I think we're done.
Closing time. Something, and I don't know the words to it.
Okay, so the reading for next week is going to be chapters 11 through 27.
Okay. And then are we gonna add like 5 more chapters, like a couple days into the
Yeah.
We took 2
that's
weeks to read
probably-
10 chapters, and now we're going 17 in one.
Okay,
Well-
as we learned, the chapters are inconsistent in size. That the number of chapters doesn't matter. It's about the page numbers.
Okay, so the page
Okay.
length should be consistent.
The page
The
length
first
should be
time we
consistent.
read 58 pages. This time we're reading 74 pages.
Good enough.
Oh my
Okay.
book.
Good enough.
I'm okay with that. I hope
Okay.
everyone else is too.
Yep.
Bryce,
good
that is
to me.
audio chapters 3 through 5. I don't know if that.
Oh yeah, I think they are. They say the chapters.
Okay. That's nice. That's very nice.
Very nice.
I like
High five.
both of us.
Wow. Wow.
What type of
Okay,
dog is this?
Official book club can be dismissed. If you guys want to do board impressions, feel free to stay.
Welcome to Borat's Impression Club.
I wanted to
Very
transition.
nice.
Hold on, everybody. I wanted to transition into Dune Club.
Yakshamish.
Yes,
No,
it
Andy, you're not-
does.
Andy, do you want the audiobook, or are you gonna read the next book? Are you not part of Dune Club, or
Kevin,
Getting kinda
respect
standard.
I
the
am also
club.
working on Ulysses right now, so
Hey,
Andy's
Kevin,
reading Joyce? See that, Corey? Andy's reading Joyce. Okay.
You can do that whenever you want, Kevin. Okay, we're gonna drain out the ocean from Dick Club and make it Dune Club. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Bring in some more
welcome to the
sand.
club.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
It's getting real
peacing
dry in
out.
here.
You're
getting
piecing
real
Bye,
dry.
out.
everybody.
It is very
Bye-bye.
dry
Hi,
in here.
Tomei.
Zip
Thanks for
up your
coming.
snowsuits, everyone. It's
Oh.
getting a little bit dry.
Hey guys, right?
Oh, nice. You got it. Kevin shows up to the movie with 2 headphones up his nose.
Look, they're always talking about the calluses they have on their nose. Like they talk about it like every time they've reintroduced the still suit. So just a little Dune news. They dropped the soundtrack on Spotify for the new film. You can preview it today.
Let's take a look.
The movie is out like everywhere besides the United States right now.
That's right. That's right.
It's
And
so
it
dumb.
had a decent opening weekend. I think it was 37 million, which is pretty solid.
Oh, so these are like, okay.
The music?
Yeah, I thought they were gonna have like Gangsta's Paradise and stuff.
What? What?
What do you think this movie is, Pat?
Some Freebird, you know?
Pat, you read the book. Okay, I could see him on the worm listening to Freebird. Now that'd be kind of cool, right?
When I see you tomorrow.
Pat thinks this is like the first Iron Man movie. There's like a lot of ACDC.
ACDC, yeah.
This is
You know
this
what?
is Suicide
Those
Squad
Marvel
with
movies, they used to always have ACDC, and then they were like, no. And then they were
Iron Man
like, you know
died.
what? We need more bad pop music in there. But there's no ACDC anymore. You know?
what about the original Dune?
The original soundtrack to the Dune film is written by the band
Mostly
Toto.
AC/DC.
No, it's what it is.
Yes, it is. It's soundtrack music, so you know it's just like
yeah.
epic.
All right.
But it's actually the band Toto, and the Brian Eno helps write a couple of the songs. So it is more soundtrack music, but they are popular pop artists of the time, rock artists, you know, that kind of stuff. So
Does the
that's
Baron
really-
walk in and then you just hear you're as cold as ice?
Willing to sacrifice our love.
No.
So where is everybody in Dune?
I'm
I-
at the
I
end
gotta
of
be
book
honest.
3.
I gotta be honest, I haven't started it. I haven't started.
Corey, I'm like, I want to say
Have you
5.
got to the dwarf part yet?
I did. I just barely
Okay.
got to it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Max is in the thick of it. Okay.
Barely
Yeah.
got to it.
So they're like in the house right now, probably.
All right, I'll dip
Yeah.
out for you guys.
Yeah, get out of here, Bryce. Hey, did you get the?
fuck out of
Okay.
here, bro? He's gone.
All right then. I'm gonna start prioritizing reading Dune Messiah, so we can. Wait, Pat.
Read whatever you want, Kev.
Okay, then. I will.
Kev,
Yeah,
you said my name.
yeah. Are you and I gonna have our little sub Dune book club, or are you not? You're not into it. You're not, you hey, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I just want to know if I can read it at my pace, or if I should, or if we can pace
Right.
together.
The
All right.
Dune.
So I'm open to reading it.
Mhm.
I can't read it at
No,
the
that's
pace we
fine.
read Dune at.
Oh, I don't have any interest in doing that. We're reading Moby Dick at that pace. This
Yeah.
is more important to me right now.
Yeah, I could do that, but like we're gonna have to go a little slower on this Messiah if we do it.
Yeah, I'm okay to that.
All right, where can I get a copy?
You can get it at a
Right.
at a
The
bookstore.
Dune.
Yeah, it
Alright.
should be at like every popular bookstore right now.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll be at like a store. But any popular bookstore should have every Dune book right now, just because the
A
movie's
store
coming out.
Okay,
I mean, I don't think they'll have it at Walmart. They
right.
might
I
have
figured as
the
much.
first Dune, but yeah, if you go to Barnes and Noble or something,
Books
I
a
don't know.
million.
Books a Million. Yeah,
Do you already have the book?
I have my
Books
actually.
One.
I can give you my old copy if you. I have 2. I forgot I had 2. I can give it to you the next time I see you.
Perfect. We'll do that
1
then.
trillion euros.
I'll do
Okay,
that,
cool.
and we'll plan with what we'll start reading.
Sounds good. Sounds good, Pat. All right, guys. I'm gonna peace out.
Kevin,
This
you
has been
missed what I
great.
said, buddy.
3,000.
5,000.
3,000 euro. Okay.
You
Okay.
will.
Bye.
Bye.
You don't know me, but I'm your Kevin.
All right, I think I'm gonna head out too. Good night, friends.
See you, Pat.